Yeah, welcome back. Oh, I was mentioning yesterday. I don't know, it seems like a week ago. Sort of yesterday. I was looking at the clock. It'll be tomorrow in 1 minute when it's 12:01. Oh, I had a decent headache yesterday. It wasn't, it didn't quite prevent me from, doing anything, but I wasn't in the mood to do anything, real heavy. So I was just, getting leaves and things, basically. And then, the headache got significantly worse. Like, really, really bad. I think I'm doing this right. I should probably find out for sure. Yeah, I guess I'm right or I'm not. We'll find out over time. Oh, and then there's that thing. Yeah, that would be a light, but that's a few episodes ago I had that happen. We're gonna not let that be a light for now. Or, in fact, we might put a light there, but it won't be one that works both ways. I think that one I'm hoping is safe. Give me, I just saw a torch. Put that there. Don't care about that or that. Or that. I want that back. So... yeah, that's good. I wanted to get started on that before I started talking. The headache got worse. I finally managed to sleep for like 4 hours. Woke up and it was like it is now, which is not good, but not terrible. Why the hell does that look like? Oh, because I went around the side. Yes, I don't know what's going to be attacking me, that maybe. I'm just trying to mirror basically every light here now has a light beneath it down there. Then I got to be sure not to go past the wall, well, beyond this wall, because that's actually 9. 10 is the outer wall, and beyond that is the ocean, so if I go to 10 and put lights down, I'll just have the ocean falling on me. I don't want that. Not yet. Like, I might get to it, but for now it's not something I want to be dealing with. Yeah, anyway, so my headache is back, or what it is kind of back to where it was, in a sense. Why doesn't this make sense to me? 0:35. Oh, I didn't finish that. That's weird. Okay, I guess I have this much left to do. Oh, that was easy. Okay, yeah, there, now it's done. At least the perimeter that I'm sticking with is done for now, and then I can just... everything else I can do just by sight. I don't have to really do a lot of counting to figure out where we are. So yeah, this doesn't take a hell of a lot of thought. I can just kind of... actually, I might want to do this the other way. And yeah, so like down there is whatever it is. It doesn't... there needs to be a floor here. Yeah, I'll just go through and... it'll be a little like doing the basement right beneath us was in the beginning, toward the beginning, with, wait, how far does that go? And why does it go there? Okay. Making sure I'm not about to let the ocean in after all. I'm aiming for like -25. So 2 more of these and then... oh, wait, as if I already have that, so... oh, negative... why is it -20? I thought it was 25. I may have to go up and check. I thought it was 25, but I might be wrong. It might be 25 is where the wall is. I don't know where anything is at this point. I'm just trying to be not dead at the moment, you know, which sounds more productive somehow. Alright, what am I... You are disturbing me. I don't care, just no. Oh, come on. Alright, so what's this? That's 20, yeah, so that's right, I guess. 25 would get me the outer wall and therefore the ocean, probably. Depending on how much is stacked up on top of it that would prevent the water from coming in at the moment. Right, I get that. Okay. I kind of wish I'd made this whole thing a bit more symmetrical. I probably could, ultimately, if I did enough to it. I mean, I could make something of a pyramid that built its way out over time. So what the hell is this? Oh, I see what I did. Yeah, I got lazy. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, this is a fairly... Another, not doing anything terribly important. I mean, it kind of gets me toward getting the house done-ish, but, not in any way that... Wait, what am I doing? Negative 20. That's not what I wanted to do. I kind of regret having done that. Just get out. You go there. I mean, ultimately there will be some, although I'll get that all cut out of there, but it's not what I'm looking for right now. What am I? Wait. Maybe that was right. What the hell is that? Oh, it was. What do you know? Again, headache. Don't expect things. Yeah, so 15 is the... I know what I'm doing now. Okay, and then if I just go that way, I'll get the, that. Yeah, I'm pretty much just kind of losing track of which direction I'm actually facing, and then there's silt that's going to fall on me, and that's going to add to the relative confusion. Anyway... Yeah, that. In theory, it's better to do what I'm doing. Get the lights in place. Before I do a lot of tearing stuff out. Oh, did I? Nope. If that's there, this is here. Downside to these things is that gravel can just land on them, so it's not like putting a torch down and solving the problem. More gravel, because of course there is. Okay, and that's the far... Is it? Or is this the middle? Where the hell am I? I am so lost right now. Okay. Okay, so I do want to go through. That gets me back to the ladder. I just did a quick east-west thing to lay out where the lanterns were actually going to be in one axis. So I want to go this way now. So in the downtime, and possibly contributing to the headache, I was clicking around on, you know, whatever, watch the thing, and then related video, and watch and relate, and you accidentally learn Sanskrit, and no, I happened across a kind of trend, really, of people, unrelated people, evidently independently thinking, you know, for better or worse. Convincing themselves and possibly others that Minecraft is dead. Which I find curious as a baseless assertion. Not entirely baseless, I mean, well, different people had different reasons. The reasons that weren't completely nuts I think the biggest factor, and some of these videos are fairly old, by the way. The biggest factor was in like 2014, Microsoft bought Mojang, which means that Notch is no longer involved at all. And there's no telling how directly other people historically involved in making the game good are still making decisions. Best I can tell, it seems to me like the people who, the creative elements of the game and updates and whatever they want to add, are still where they were. I think, from what I understand, from what I read at the time, 4 years ago, Microsoft wanted Mojang not so much for Minecraft, like they didn't mind getting it, but it was more for graphical elements, the algorithms that allowed for certain rendering properties. It was all, they really just wanted the, you know, it wasn't the painting, they liked the frame is essentially what happened. Which I assume they're using to some extent. I mean, I've seen companies buy companies before for reasons like that, and then they just shelved everything, so it could be a lot worse. But a fair complaint was, it's not just this game, there's also consoles and phones and whatever, so there is an argument to be made that there's nothing they can do with this apart from trying to release a Trojan that shuts it down once and for all, maybe. I don't think they'd want to, but I mean, that would be an option. Sort of. Legally, it would be awkward. But with the phone game or the Xbox version or whatever, Microsoft are fairly obviously trying to get all of their $2.5 billion back with DLC. With, you know, get this skin, get that map, whatever. Whatever they can get $5 for from anyone who wants this thing. With this version, there's no doing that because, you know, you have Photoshop, you do whatever you want and throw it in the game. It's infinitely moddable. So, haha. But, you know, I can see that being an issue where Microsoft are really more looking to be reimbursed, remunerated, for their efforts to date at the expense of people who can't exactly add stuff, you know, sideload stuff into, I just made a huge mistake, sideload stuff into the Xbox version as an example. Get rid of that. Where'd the ladder end up? I'd like to have that one day. And then before I get too clever with my new ladder, I need to find the other ladder, which I imagine is over here somewhere. Oh, maybe it's over here somewhere instead. Oh, come on, where is it? I know it exists. Oh, that's actually not the answer, is it? Let me just tear this out. It's back here somewhere. Yeah, 2. Okay. That was unfortunate. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway. Oh, and I don't care. Give me that. I'm sure I'll pick this stuff up whether I want it or not. How did that happen to me precisely? Where was I when I was behind it, right? Yeah. So then we end up here, and we want to go further than we have. I do want to... Stop that, please. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm just going to make an exception and tear this damn thing out so I can see where I am. Okay. Yeah, then we just go around this and turn to the side, and that's done, and that's not done. Because we have to do this. Okay. And then that's done. Okay, this now because it's just in my way. It's actually not, but I can't see around it, so it's confusing me. Headache still. Yeah, so Microsoft bought Mojang, which no one likes... Well, I'm sure there are people who do like Microsoft. I know people who love it, who to this day are running Microsoft servers. I mean, like, you know, actual server physical machines. And they're just thrilled with it. You know, since the alternative is Unix and well, that's about it, actually. Ultimately, I mean, everything... Linux, Unix, they're all the same thing in relation to the Microsoft architecture, anyway. So, yeah, there are people who dig Microsoft as, you know, NT. Well, NT's not a thing anymore, but you may get my point if you know what I'm talking about. If not, just trust me on this. There are people who like Microsoft operating systems on, you know, 86 architecture to run a server. I've done it. I don't like it as much, but that's me. So, where the hell... I'm going to go over here and turn back. I think that's going to be better. Anyway, yeah, there's something to be said for Microsoft getting its greedy little dick in everyone's pie, but I don't think it's as simple as that. They didn't just wasn't like Gateway buying Amiga and then we never heard about it again. Meaning Gateway buying it from VisCorp after it fell over into the swamp, which after VisCorp got it from ESCOM, which burned down and fell over into the swamp. It's a whole big history. Amiga, if you don't know Amiga, or, well, I'm not surprised. It's been 25 years since they started to die. The overall point is, I certainly don't think Microsoft are at all nefarious. I'm not sure I ascribe them the intelligence to be nefarious as a rule. I think they're greedy, is what they are. Meaning I suspect it, and can't, you know, don't call this a defamation thing. Because if I'm right, then they'll sue me because they're greedy. Haha. Proof. Anyway. I think I'm in about the right place. Yeah, okay. At this point, I have no idea where I have and haven't been. I've really lost track of something. My head still hurts. Are we doing this now? I guess. Alright, I think it's time to just start tearing out chunks, because well, not game chunks, not in the sense people say chunks in Minecraft. More in the sense that there's all this stuff in my way that's preventing me from seeing what I'm after. It's a bunch of rocks that are fairly redundant. These I can make with a cobblestone generator. Iron I don't care about. Dirt's kind of cool. I might, in fact, pick it up. Do I have any? I guess I haven't seen any lately. Next time I get dirt dislodged, I'll pick it up and replace that with it. So yeah, a concern is that Microsoft are more interested in making their money back than... If you want an analogy, Disney bought Lucasfilm. And I personally, I don't hate what Disney have been doing by their nature. Like, I was okay with Menace, or not Menace. I was okay-ish with Menace. I was probably more charitable than most people. Force in 2015. I didn't hate that. I get that it's a remake of Star Wars. That's fine. I don't care. Not really my biggest problem. Rogue One was boring, and it was just a Star Wars fanfic written by the guy who invented Photoshop. Space Bear, I won't call it The Last Jedi because I like to shorten these things to one word. Everyone always has. Well, two in the case of Star Wars, because I also don't bother with A New Hope. That's just, that happened later. It's a retcon. I already called Jedi, so I gotta call it something. I can't call it Last, because that's weird. So it's Space Bear because that was the working title, and that's their fault for letting me have that. I was okay with it. I mean, overall. It was actually one of the better ones. You know, to the extent that people agree that Empire was about as good as it gets. There are those who think Jedi was better than Empire. And they're not entirely wrong, but there were elements of Jedi that were unforgivable, like the damned Ewoks. Which, you know, who knew that eventually we'd miss them when they got Gungans instead, but... or Porgs. Not that the Porgs were particularly important to anything, they were just basically layered on top of existing birds, so they wouldn't have to remove the birds. It was easier to do a CG Muppet that you make toys out of and make more money, which is my point. Disney bought bought Lucasfilm. And for all you might want to hate Lucas for the prequels, and I don't entirely blame you, they were weak and arrogant in the sense that one reason Jedi wasn't quite as good as Empire probably was that, well, that was the point at which Gary Kurtz left the whole thing. Well, the whole thing. There'd been 2 films. In a lot of ways, Kurtz was who made Star Wars good in the very first place. That's something to be realistic about. And he wasn't around for Jedi. He moved on. So it was a bit weak in terms of production value. It was a very flashy film, especially for 1983, but it wasn't. It lost some of the griminess and replaced it with, you know, Ewok, Luddite, Sylvatic weirdness instead of grimy townscape, really. Yeah, most Isley and whatever were number cities, but, and if you haven't seen the film since, you know, from before the special editions, Mos Eisley was smaller and grimier. The point here, Disney want their $4 million back. Or $4 billion, sorry. $4 million is nothing. It's absolutely, I mean, yeah, they're using Abrams or, oh, nuts, who wrote Space Bear? Was it just the director, or was it? No, Kasdan was involved again, wasn't he? Maybe, I don't know. The point is, they have, well, what are called in the entertainment industry notes, which are basically know-it-should-bes from people who don't write things. Producers who want to be able to tell all their boring friends, it's like, that stupid thing in the film that doesn't belong there, that was my idea. It's about the time you get, what's his name, who wants a giant spider in if Kev Smith makes Superman. And then gets it in Wild Wild West, which, you know, the spider was probably the only good part of that film. Or at least the closest thing to it. Man, did that suck. And I like Kevin Kline, he is good. And I'm fine with Will Smith, he's done some really good stuff. Anyway. So the new Star Wars films, good or not, we're not going to debate whether they're worthy of existing, let alone the title, are very much corporate productions. Exactly what Lucas never wanted. Which, relative to the prequels, means that the prequels suffered because he so much got his own way, no one would tell him, don't do this stupid thing. And then you get a two-headed thing and doing a pod race for 15 minutes, and that's gotta hurt, regardless of the plan. Really, George? Really? Really? So anyway. But the prequels are in their way better than Disney stuff, because at least, whether he was good at it, and again, that's not the purpose of the debate, Lucas is a storyteller. He was like, you know, I don't care. He cared what it looked like insofar as he wanted to make it look better than Flash Gordon had, and the one in the 40s, 50s, before, you know, Sam Jones and Swedish guy, Von Sydow. Not the one from 1980, 1980, I think. Not that. That was different. That was, hey, Star Wars said, well, let's make that version of Flash Gordon that Lucas had wanted to make, but we wouldn't let him, so he made his own thing and showed us that we were wrong. Lucas is a storyteller. Whether he's good at it is not the point. And Disney are a machine that want to make money. Fine. And there's nothing wrong with money. I happen to like it myself. So, back to Microsoft, they want to make money. Which, again, I don't blame them. Money is really cool. I happen to have some. It's cool. I like it. It's useful. They are not storytellers. They're not game makers. They're Xbox makers, maybe. So, there is a concern that Microsoft are doing it for the money, and Mojang are doing it for the content. And somewhere in there's a conflict. So, it is fair to argue that Mojang losing some control over over Minecraft is a problem, potentially at least. I get that. It's a concern. Founded or not, it's something to be concerned about. So I could see where that's an issue. I don't, especially with 1.13 potentially coming up sometime this year. I don't know if it's a big issue. I think these were complaints that were more back around the time that Microsoft were buying the whole thing, and people were, you just wait and see what my guess is, and I'll be right because I can, forget that I ever said this. I don't know if it's as valid as a concern as it seemed like at the time. Because Microsoft have actually showed a lot of restraint outside of expecting to make $2.5 billion off of skins on the Xbox. So there's that. Another concern, and it's probably almost more valid, is that in a sense, Minecraft peaked in about 2013, in terms of that's when everyone was buying it, that's when everyone was playing it every day. But a big factor was everyone in 2013 was 13. See what I'm saying? These are people who are like 18 now. They saw this as a kid's game, which I guess it's not a kid's game. It's, certainly PG-13 at worst. And they outgrew it. I think that's a bit spurious because, well, a factor is the only game technically more popular to date has been Tetris, which, goes back to like when I was 13. That was back to the mid-80s. Tetris, if you're just talking the biggest computer game in history, it's Minecraft. It took over The Sims pretty quickly, and here we are. But then Tetris was on everything from, well, not Atari, actually, but I don't think, no, it wasn't. But, or in television. But I think some Nintendo had a version of it, and then PlayStation probably had it. So just in sheer number, and of course it's a little more, well, actually Minecraft is exactly as international, it's just not Russian so much as Swedish. So there's something of an issue with that, I guess. I don't know why this is cobblestone, I'm a little concerned about it. I guess no good reason, it may be the side, I know why, that's why, because I have that. And there's go the monsters. Okay. Let me get this out of my way. Anyway, so it's a thing, I mean, yeah. The people who were the right age at the right time to make Minecraft as big as it is, and I don't discredit them, I'm not disacknowledging their, contribution to the whole issue. They certainly made it happen, no doubt. But that they're turning 18 or 20 or 22, I mean just that age range. The older millennial generation. Well, actually the older millennials are 30 now, aren't they? 30 something. 30 anyway. And then we got the Homeland generation, which people are still calling like Generation Z because they're very thinky. they are getting older, and maybe giving up on getting, you know, there is a point, and I think everyone goes through, well, everyone stable goes through where you, is, well, video games were fun, I'm going to move on to, like, I can drive around now. Yay, I've got a car. I've got, well, I don't know what people have these days because the economy's been wonky for a couple of decades. Job at Starbucks, whatever they do, I do whatever, I don't care. My point is, there are people who think video games, and it's not like they're wrong, it's a subjective element, it's pure opinion, and you get over it and go back and forth all your life, I guess, are for kids, they're toys. And at some point, you know, peer pressure or not, whatever it is, you get to the point that you think, hey, you know, video games, that was cool then, but let's move on, I've got stuff to do, I want to drink a lot, or go to the club and do the, you know, Macarena. See how anti I am? Listen to Taylor Gaga on the jukeboxes, and they're just done with games for a while. I'm sure they'll be back. I'm sure because, you know, we in Generation X started this whole thing. We had the Atari VCS when we were, you know, 6 or 7 years old, and we just damn near destroyed the industry when Atari tried to make E.T., and we gave up on the whole thing for 5 years. Then Nintendo came back and kind of saved it for us. And here we are playing games again. It's just now we're the ones who can afford every console at once. So there, haha. But, yeah, that, the core demographic, and there's no denying it, probably, you know, it was, no denying it probably, that makes sense. It was in all probability that age group who made this happen, and can also wreck everything they made happen by abandoning it to go work at Starbucks and not play the game. I get that. I think it ignores the younger, well, there are still kids who aren't in fact working at Starbucks yet, driving around, in that generation, and then the generation to follow it. They're always around. We keep making more kids. I don't. I'm not into that, but kids do keep happening, and they want toys, and this is a toy, and it's a game that, like, anyone can play. There's no language barrier to it. It's not, you know, it's like the sort of film that's so boring that you can release it in China and make twice as much money from them alone, because it's all action and there's no reliance on dialogue. I'm sure there is dialogue, but it's not nuanced. It's not puns and entendres and word games. It's all just grunty people pointing at the big exploding robot, and then everyone digs it, and it makes $1 billion in the first couple of weeks. Like, you know, Disney making Star Wars. Although I'm not sure they're doing well, because Star Wars, China has something against mysticism and the Force counts, so they gotta be careful. It's like illegal or something. I'm not sure, I'm not up on that. It's what I've heard as an excuse for particularly Solo not doing well. But I don't know if it's true. I'm out of time, by the way. Anyway, that was my day. Headache got worse. It was not helped by people assuring me, however sophistically, however thinkily, that this game that still people are playing in the millions on a daily basis is already dead, or, you know, moribund at least. I get what they're saying. I don't think it's true. I think to the extent that it is true, it's a temporary blip. Yeah, it might be a pretty big valley in the bar graph, in fact, but, you know, things like Fortnite obviously are doing really well, and they're updating really quickly, too. That's another factor, was, especially with some of the older videos, and it's like, we haven't seen an update worth talking about lately. We got the damned combat update, which, now I'm trying to think, was that before or after they got bought out? I think it was after. It may have been. No one liked that. I like it because then I can have, you know, this, but I can have the lantern in my left hand, which I have a left hand now. That's kind of cool. I will grant that having to time when and how to swing a sword at something coming at me that doesn't have restrictions. If anything, they're more aggressive now. It's a bit of a bummer, but I can live with it. I've adapted to it. So, but with 113 coming out, a concern, I suppose, would be that there are those who abandoned the game a couple of years ago. If they came back today, or worse, tomorrow, whenever we get 113, they're not going to know what they're looking at. It's the incremental updates are spread out enough that if you do rage quit the whole thing because it's just become boring, you're going to get pretty lost when you come back and try to catch up to what the hell we've got now with the prismarine staircases, or even just prismarine blocks, depending on when after 2013 someone gave it. We got prismarine in 2014, right? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure when we got it. That sounds right, though. The point is, yeah, there are factors that are at least slowing the growth, maybe even letting the game lose its native popularity, but I don't think it's actually dying out. I think it's more going through a relatively quirky transitional phase with, you know, Microsoft want money for skins, which I'll grant is kind of reprehensible at best. It's their company, they can do what they want, but it's not the point. The point is they're not handling it that well in terms of consoles and phones. This version is pretty hard to control. The best they could do is declare it abandonware, and then everyone would have it for free, and that would probably kick up the popularity like Fortnite again. I don't think it's a... I think it's a little early to say that it's dead, or even dying. I think it's restructuring and getting new stuff, you know, probably soonish. And that will... There's a lot left you can do to this game. Like, I don't know, I'm out of time, so I don't want to go into too many thoughts about that, but I sure as hell wouldn't mind seeing, you know, we have the End, which is a newer thing. And then we have End Cities in the End, so that's also a newer thing. I wouldn't hate seeing additional other bubble universe elements, the Nether, the End. You know, we could have, if you want to have water levels, you could actually have a water level that you had to teleport to, you know, through a portal to, yeah, get to in the first place. That would be kind of neat, I think. There's lots, well, it's like Star Wars again. I mean, you know, you've got Tatooine, which is sand. You've got, well, the Death Star, which is metal. Hoth, which is snow. Dagobah is swamp. Endor's Northern California. And then nothing and nothing, well, Coruscant. But then in Sith, you had that weird flower planet where the Jedi chick, Sakura? No. I don't, I wasn't getting the action figures, so I don't know what their names are. You know, there's room for expansion if you want additional, you know, portals leading to something. We can make that happen. We can come up with new stuff. We being whoever, doesn't even matter. I'm sure it probably even could be modded if you tried hard enough. There might be a way. There's room to work with. That should be safe. There's room to work with the space left over where it hasn't been, where nothing's happened yet. We could look into that sometime. Why not? Anyway, I'm going to split because my headache is back to getting bad, and maybe you can tell by the rambling. I'll work on this, probably go to the next, where am I? Next floor down, do it all over again. I'll see what I can get cleared out, just to have ready for later, and then next time maybe we'll do something a little more important than just, you know, hitting blocks all day. Yeah, I'm way over time. I'll go. Alright, I'll see you sometime tomorrow, I hope, if I feel better. That'd be nice. I'd like that. Okay, so that's that, and I'll see you then, so Let me get a hand free. Yeah, cool. Bye now.